It's spring break of the 2021 school year, and just over 1 year ago, the world was crippled by a global pandemic that, among other disruptions, shut Vernon Hills down for many months. While the school building itself was shut down, teaching and learning didn't stop. Instruction and curriculum had to be completely rethought, and the amount of planning and preparation by our teachers was immense. And they have proven to be adaptive and innovative. So we thought now is an appropriate time to recognize the great work being done at the high school, as well as create a video archive that will tell our pandemic story for years to come. The first semester of this school year found us in remote learning. Teachers and students joining virtual classrooms from home. Teachers use Google Classroom and Zoom to facilitate the course and to deliver content. As we transitioned into second semester, our students and staff had to once again adjust their focus to a hybrid model of instruction. Hybrid instruction was new for all of us. In this model of school, students are given a choice to attend in-person classes or remain in full e-school. The students who chose to attend in-person classes attended half their day at school and half in online classes at home. For teachers, they had to be skilled enough to simultaneously deliver instruction to students learning at home and to those in person. Not an easy task, especially when you consider they had to do it while wearing masks and staying socially distanced. Despite these challenges, our Cougars have demonstrated our daring mission, being inquisitive, nimble, and resilient. Let's hear from a few students and teachers to hear how it went.
Hybrid learning is, a new adventure in our remote learning experience here with COVID-19. It's wonderful having students back in the classroom so they get some hands-on experience, as well as still reaching out to those kids at home.
Something that surprised me was that the teachers do a good job of we're not on Zoom 24/7 in all my classes. In some of my classes we just listen to them and they'll project stuff, and they do a good way of keeping both the people on the Zoom and the people in class both engaged.
One thing that I have found that has surprised me is how hard this is. How hard it is on teachers, how hard it is on students, yet no one's backing down. Everyone sees this as something that we can do together, and we can make sure that the learning still takes place. And I'm really proud of the fact of how everyone has stepped up to this challenge.
Overall, great. The kids get a choice of what works best for them, and I see a lot of kids succeeding in what they chose to do.
I feel it's much easier to pay attention. A lot of the classes like math and physics, where I do need a little bit more guidance and I get easily distracted in those classes, it's much better to focus and learn in those classes.
Like I mentioned, instruction in our classrooms has had to look different in the hybrid model. Students have unique needs. Curriculum has had to be adapted, and teachers have had to reinvent their strategies. Here are some examples.
It's forced me to have to be really creative and think through my main priorities in teaching each content area or each lesson, and think through how to make it accessible. I've had to evaluate my teaching in a lot more ways than I think I probably would have if it were a normal year and I didn't have all these other additional challenges. We have a number of related service staff and other students that support our students, our teaching assistants, who have all really come together to strategize and help supporting students in person and at home. And on our days when we are all remote, it's been really cool to see the staff all work together as well to work in breakout rooms and support students, and kind of really keeping that differentiated instruction at the center of our attention.
So the success of this model has really been dependent on the team effort. And team effort, I'm talking about admin, I'm talking about IT, talking about teachers, students. Really, they're a piece that all fits together to see success. The equipment we have in the room has been amazing to allow students that are in person to hear their fellow classmates, to have the camera move around, and the ability to feel part of the class.
So I share on my overhead so that students in my classroom don't have to join on Zoom. Sometimes they might need to, but that helps. I'm using office hours frequently, which I think really helps with certain kids. And on Wednesdays, I use asynchronous days so that I can meet up with certain kids with one-on-one and small groups.
One of the many pieces of equipment and technology that we used this year in class was Pivot Interactives. Pivot Interactives allowed the students at home to take direct measurements from videos they found on the web or videos that they made themselves. They could add meter sticks, timers, and different measuring devices into the program and measure directly through the program itself.
I was really surprised how resourceful students are at home.
So look, I've got a real nicely marked. I got to cut that half. So I've already.
With the tools I've given them, and then they find other ways to complete the projects, and I'm pretty impressed with their resourcefulness.
Remember, we always pull back. That's your easiest cut.
The impact of our hybrid learning reaches beyond the instructional classroom. Members of our learning support teams and our support staff themselves have had to approach hybrid learning in all sorts of creative ways.
So this year has brought a lot of change, and with that change, our LST has had to revitalize the supports that we provide students. And that includes the supports that we provide behind camera. So via Zoom, we've been able to have small groups for students and have an opportunity for them to discuss. It also includes our deans, our social workers, our counselors getting into the classroom setting, whether to provide a lesson or provide an opportunity for students to discuss. And then the last portion of it is with the counseling team. So we were able to register the entire student body via Zoom and through the help of ESP. But again, it's not what we do behind camera, but the efforts outside of the camera as well, outside of Zoom. So we've been in the community and working with home visits in order to check in with students, meet students where they're at, and provide the support needed. And we found a lot of benefit from doing that too, of checking in with students and providing an opportunity for discussion and to see what resources they need as well. Then the last part of it would be the resources that we provided students and families with our meal deliveries. So around this time last year, we had to figure out a way to provide food for families in need in the area. And we have stationed up within different locations within the community, and we have also provided a food pantry here at Vernon Hills High School.
So heading into this year, Denise and I really focused on how we could replicate the energy and community that we try and foster here in the CRC, but in a virtual environment.
The newsletter was created because of the pandemic, so the CRC Connection was really an opportunity for us to showcase our personalities and kind of bring that to life.
And all of our nighttime presentations that we usually hold in person became webinars. And one of the perks of the webinar format was we had a lot more participation, and after the fact, we could send out the recording to families that weren't able to attend live.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at the unique and innovative ways that our students and staff are adapting to work during this pandemic. It certainly has been a challenge for all of us, but as you can see that working together and embracing our daring mission, Vernon Hills and D128 students and staff demonstrate that together we can do just about anything.